Welcome to an American Homestead, podcasting live from deep within the Ozark Mountains at an elevation of 2,200 feet. It is, what day is it today? It's Wednesday, and it's good to be back. I'm learning the controls. I think I got a handle on this thing, and we are back in business. YouTube changed a lot of stuff, and so my last few live streams were kind of a mess. And I was like, man, I saw the stuff going on today. I'm like, I got to do a live stream because this is insanity we are living in, folks. People have just lost their minds. The cheese has fallen out of their sandwich. So I just wanted to come in and just do a video tonight. And so I got it the live stream. We're good to go. Looks like we're live. And I see the chat. The chat sees me. Give me a thumbs up if you're good to go in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you're good to go in the chat. Yes. I like to see the thumbs up. And then, we just so I know you can hear me, everything's good. And then, he says 6,200 feet in Arizona. I see Diane, a no-name flat earther. 9252 life off grid. Woke. Vermonster. Rob Hammonds. Free Press. Marcy Brody. Midnight Hour. D and Rowe. John Davies. D Love. Coon Yank Company. All right, I see the thumbs up. Good deal, folks. All right, so, yeah, the world's just gone crazy. And so if you have heard of this term we're going to talk about tonight, it is this whole great reset. And it's actually on the mainstream media now. Mainstream media is talking about it. This is real. A couple of days ago, I thought this is absolutely nuts. There's no way this is true. But it looks like it is. And you know what? I'm pondering this, when I first heard about this. And I'm thinking, this is horrible. But then as I started to play things out in my head, I just got to a point where I'm not worried about it. I'm really not worried about it. I think that, there's a lot of fear out there, and fear plays well. It sells well. You can get big bucks selling fear, but I'm just not fearful about this. And I think that there are people out there who are just not giving America the benefit of the doubt. We have risen above things like this before, and it hurts sometimes, and there could be some hard times coming. But overall, I think that we're going to be okay. If you know where I stand theologically, on a theological base, is I believe we're in the last days. I believe we're in the last days, and how that plays out, I don't know. We're just gonna have to sit and watch the show. Someone mentioned in the chat getting popcorn. Running for popcorn and beer. I mean, if that's what you have to do, if that's how you have to look at it, that's how you have to look at it. So let me read you some of these news articles that I have been wanting to share. I've been reading about. We're going to go through this. Let me put this on the screen for you guys so you guys can see what I'm saying over here at the Canadian Report. Now, this is like a link aggregator, kind of like Drudge. And a lot of you guys have seen this because a lot of you guys have been sending me this link. But I just need to read this. We need to read this. So this was leaked, supposedly info into Justin Trudeau, Crazy's 19 plan for 2021. All right, so let's read this. It says, Dear Removed, I want to provide you some very important information. I'm a committee member within the Liberal Party of Canada. I sit within several committee groups, but the information I am providing is originating from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the PMO. Now, I'm going to read this fast because I have a lot to get through, and I want to get through all of it. And it's going to get really, really scary. Okay, but again, there's no reason to be scared, I don't think. I feel okay about this. I need to start off by saying that I'm not happy doing this, but I have to. As a Canadian, and more importantly, as a parent who wants a better future for not only my children, but for the other children as well. It's the whole, he's a liberal because he's all like, it takes a village, right? The other reason I am doing this is because roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada, but our opinions have been ignored and they plan on moving forward toward their goals. They have also made it very clear that nothing will stop the planned outcomes. The roadmap and aim was set out by the PMO and is as follows. Phase 1. In secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas first and expanding to outward. This is already happening right now, November 2020. New York is shutting down schools, they announced today. California is in their second lockdown. The other communities, states, metropolitan areas are going into their second lockdown now, November 2020. Rush the acquisition of or construction of isolation facilities across every province and territory expected by December 2020. Now, you might say, oh, this is just for Canada. Hold on to your hats. Daily new cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curves expected by the end of November 2020. Complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first and second rolling phase restrictions, that was the one talked about up here, expected by the end of December 2020, that's next month, or early January 2021. Reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into the Universal Basic Income Program expected by Q1 2021. That's when they start. That's when helicopter Ben Bernanke and all of his friends start getting, firing up the helicopters and dropping money over all of the population. See, this is not just the U.S. This is talking about Canada, but it's going to be for everywhere, guys, everywhere. Universal Basic Income is when everyone gets paid to do nothing. Everyone gets paid to do nothing. Projected COVID-19 mutation and or co-infection with secondary virus referred as COVID-21, leading to a third wave with much higher mortality rate and higher rate of infection expected by February 2021. We don't even know if this is going to happen, but they're already predicting it. And if you've seen the trailer for the movie, was it Songbird? Is that it? Songbird? Someone in the chat post that up. Go watch that trailer after this. Make a note, write it down. I think it's Songbird. Go watch that movie trailer coming out. I think it's December, right? Like next month. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not in the chat right now, so I'm reading this. Daily new cases of COVID-21 hospitalizations and COVID-19 and COVID-21 related deaths will exceed medical care facilities. How do they know that? They just know it because they're planning it. Enhanced lockdown restrictions, referred to as third lockdown, will be implemented. Full travel restrictions will be imposed, including inter-province and intercity, expected Q2 2021. So full travel restrictions will be imposed, including inter-province and intercity. That's going to be a hard one to swallow. And they can do this in Canada. They can do this in Canada, and I'll tell you why they can't do it here. We'll go through that. It's just hold on to your hats. It's going to get more fun. The ride's just going to get more interesting. Transitioning of individuals into the Universal Basic Income Program expected mid-quarter 2021. Projected supply chain breakdowns, inventory shortages, large economic instability expected Q2 2021. Deployment of military personnel into major metropolitan areas as well as major roadways to establish travel checkpoints, restrict travel and movement, provide logistical support to the area expected by Q3 2021. Now, there it all goes. Let's read this guy's synopsis. Along with that provided roadmap, the Strategic Planning Committee was asked to design an effective way of transitioning Canadians to meet an unprecedented economic endeavor, one that would change the face of Canada and forever alter the lives of Canadians. What we were told was that in order to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, that the federal government was going to offer Canadians a total debt relief. This is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, which all funding will be provided to Canada by the IMF. That's the International Monetary Fund. If you have been paying attention to the International Monetary Fund lately, if you think this is crazy, they have called for a new Bretton Woods. This has been in the news. If you've been paying attention, you have seen this. They have been calling for a new Bretton Woods. They're probably doing it right now. This is where the whole reset is coming from, the International Monetary Fund. Okay, under what will become known as the World Debt Reset Program. In exchange for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, what do we get behind door number one, Johnny? The individual would forfeit ownership of any and all property and assets forever. The individual would also have to agree to partake in the COVID-19 and COVID-21 vaccination schedule, which would provide the individual with unrestricted travel and unrestricted living under a full lockdown through the use of Canada's Health Pass. And they will have something similar here. Committee members asked who would become the owner of the forfeited property and assets in that scenario and what would happen to lenders or financial institutions. We were simply told the World Debt Reset Program will handle all of the details. Several committee members also questioned what would happen to individuals if they refused to participate in the World Debt Reset Program or the Health Pass or the vaccination schedule. And the answer we got was very troubling. Essentially, we were told it was our duty to make sure we came up with a plan to ensure that would never happen. We were told it was in the individual's best interest to participate. When several committee members pushed relentlessly to get an answer, we were told that those who refused would first live under the lockdown restrictions indefinitely. and that over a short period of time, as more Canadians transitioned into the debt forgiveness program, the ones who refused to participate would be deemed a public safety risk and would be relocated into isolation facilities. Once in those facilities, they would be given two options: participate in the debt forgiveness program and be released, or stay indefinitely in the isolation facility under the classification of a serious public health risk and have all their assets seized. So, as you can imagine, after hearing all of this, turned into quite the heated discussion and escalated beyond anything I have ever witnessed before. In the end, it was implied by the PMO that the whole agenda will move forward no matter who agrees with it or not. That it won't just be Canada, but in fact, all nations will have similar roadmaps and agendas, that we will need to take advantage of the situations before us to promote change on a grander scale for the betterment of everyone. The members who were opposed and ones who brought up key issues that would arise from such a thing were completely ignored. Our opinions and concerns were ignored. We were simply told to just do it. All I know is that I don't like it, and I think it's going to place Canadians into a dark future. All right, so this was posted on the Canadian Report back in October 14th. It made its rounds. People were like, blah, blah. Okay, that's really scary, but come on. And then it started to pick up steam, and more and more people started coming out. And people started putting together the puzzle pieces with the IMF, what the IMF has been releasing, what they've been saying, and what has actually been going on. And everyone now, I mean, listen, most of America, people, if you're one of the 71 million people who voted for Trump, you know that this was not right. I mean, there is even if everything is on the up and up, the media has been totally insane about covering up and saying, "Don't look over here." They've been shadow banning people. They've been taking things down, on Facebook and Twitter. So, I mean, it's just there's smoke there. There's lots of smoke. So, there's a fire. So you have all that going on. And then you have, let's see, this right here. Deling poll, the Great Reset is trending. Here's why. So I believe this is James Deling poll is the writer. The Great Reset is trending. Here's why. The Great Reset has been trending on Twitter. Once you're familiar with what it means for the future of our civilization, you'll understand why. Folks, this is Breitbart. Okay, this isn't some no-name fringe, website. This is Breitbart. This is a conservative website, and they really try to pride themselves on getting out the truth. And they're talking about the Great Reset. Put simply, it is the blueprint for a complete transformation of the world economy. There will be no money, no private property, no democracy. Instead, every key decision, what you do for a living, how much stuff you consume, whether you can take a vacation. Let me zoom in on this, folks, so you can see it. Take a vacation will be decided for you by a remote, unaccountable elite of experts. Oh, at least they're experts. I mean, you wouldn't want, mere amateurs deciding your future for you, would you? I mean, as long as they're experts, I'm okay. It sounds like a conspiracy theory and is often dismissed as such by people who imagine that they are being savvy and sophisticated. In fact, though, the people pushing for the Great Reset are perfectly open about their plan. Indeed, they can scarcely stop talking about it. One of these people is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. There's a video of Trudeau talking about the Great Reset, which prompted the flurry of nervous interest on social media. Okay, so, all right, I'm pointing this out, and you can look through this article if you want to. It's on Breitbart. You can research. This is on Drudge, This was linked over at the Liberty Daily website. I don't go to Drudge anymore. Drudge is a liberal stinkhole. So if you go to Liberty Daily, you can go here. I'm not going to roll down sometimes, because sometimes some of their ads I don't like their ads. I do have Brave. I'm using the Brave browser. Some of them aren't showing up. Oh, look at that. Isn't Brave wonderful? Folks, if you're not using Brave browser, use Brave browser. It gets rid of a lot of the ads, and some of the ads are just not appropriate. Sometimes in places that you go online. So it was linked here. Oh, there it is right there, right at the top. Here's why the Great Reset is trending. I get a lot of my links here, and so you should do the same. Anyway, I saw that, and I'm like, man, this is not fringe anymore. This is really going places, and I'm seeing it in a lot of other places too. So I'm just saying, why am I not worried? Because right when you read that, it's pretty scary. Let me go back to the camera. It's pretty scary. It sounds absolutely insane. Guys, Canada, it's obvious the ballot box is no longer working. The ballot box is no longer working. And I don't want to sound like, a lunatic. But the reality is our founders were such brilliant people. that they put this other option. It's a last option. Excuse me. And that is the cartridge box. If the ballot box fails to function, if the ballot box no longer works, we have this thing called the cartridge box. And that will work. I mean, especially if you keep it lubed and oiled and, well-fed magazines, and preferably have a Russian variant that never jams. I'm just saying, we have that option. And in America, a lot of people forget because we haven't taught history in our schools for, generations now. This country was founded when the British tried to take away the cartridge box from us. That was Concord. That was Concord Bridge. They came to take away the cartridge box. And Americans said no. And they let them have it. And they learned real quick that they weren't going to take away the cartridge box, and they tried for years after that to continue to try to take away the cartridge box. Guys, as someone who's been in the gun culture, who's someone who has been, who has worked in the Missouri State Legislature and has helped people, brilliant people, write the gun laws in Missouri. We passed the Castle Doctrine in Missouri. We passed the Hunters Protection Act in Missouri. We passed concealed carry in Missouri, and so many other amazing, good pro cartridge box laws that, I know the gun culture, and there are people who are itching for this. They're waiting for it. I mean, they're waiting for it. They're itching to go. They're itching for something like this. And it's kind of scary. Really scary, actually. And the reality is most military and most police are on board. To be totally honest with you, they are. They see, because people who have this ability inside them to desire to be a hero, they come mostly from patriotic families. People who want to know, or who are taught by their parents what was right and wrong. Not always, not in all cases. I know there's some bad apples out there. I get it. But for the most part, people who are raised in good families, they have a desire to promote justice, and liberty. And that's the kind of people we have in law enforcement. There's good people there. There's good people in our military. And a lot of those people become veterans. And they become part of the gun culture. Most of the people I knew in the gun culture were veterans. Most of them. Or ex-military, ex-law enforcement, So I'm not worried because we have this ability in this country to say no. And if it means having to forego the ballot box because it no longer works, we have the cartridge box. And I know that's an extreme thing to say, but that's where we're at right now. If they're going to come to your door and they're going to take away all assets, property, and haul you off to some institution or some camp, the cartridge box guaranteed is going to come out and speak loud and clear about what's happening. Now, if you're in Canada, if you're in Britain, if you're in Australia, if you're in some other country, you've already given that right up. I remember years ago, Australia and Britain and Canada, they gave up their rights to own firearms. South Africa too, sort of is in that basket. Not totally. They still have firearms there, but it's limited very heavily. But, some of these other countries, very, very restricted. You have no way of saying no. You have no alternative. If they come to your door to take you away, there is no ultimate recourse. Live free or die. Give me liberty or give me death. That's not a suggestion. That was I mean, there are people who really believe that still who are in this country today. I don't know what the Great Reset's going to entail. I don't know. I mean, again, this sounds like this is all really happening. And I don't know what's the outcome of this election is going to be. But I can tell you one thing, sure as shooting, that this country will not stand by and will not allow, goodness gracious, how many firearms that were sold in America in the last year alone, in 2020. You can't find ammo on the shelves. You can't even find a load-bearing vest on the shelf anywhere. Good luck trying to find a rifle sling. It's like, This place is armed to the teeth. And you think you're going to have a bunch of people. You have another thing coming. You're about to get a lesson in Concord Bridge style. You're about to get a lesson. It's just not going to happen. There will be people who would rather give up their lives than have that be their final fate. In this country. And they'll learn quick, fast, and in a hurry that it's not going to happen. Now, everyone knows, I think they've been on my channel for long enough, you know that the Bible, I hold the Bible very dear, and I study it and I read it all the time. It is the book that has changed my life. And I recommend everyone to read it, study it, and do what it says. Obey it. Read it and obey it. There is another book out there that made me woke after I got out of the military. Again, I'm part of the gun culture. During my time in helping a number of, I'm not going to do any name drops here, but some very well-known people in the state of Missouri who helped write gun legislation. When I was doing volunteer lobbying for the Second Amendment. I was on the board of directors for the Missouri Sports Shooting Association, which was the NRA state affiliate. I was on that board of directors for 8 years. And so we helped write, laws. We helped make sure that Second Amendment was protected in Missouri. I met a guy named John Ross, and that guy wrote a book that changed my life, just like the Bible. Bible more so. But what made me woke was his book, and it's called Unintended Consequences. Unintended Consequences. I've never mentioned that book's name. It sits on my shelf. I've never mentioned that book's name in any of my videos before, but I'm doing it tonight. If you have an opportunity to read that book, it's like 900 pages long, and it's a mix of fiction and nonfiction. Absolutely amazing book. Changed my life. There's not a gun show in this country I have never been to a gun show. I've gone to lots of gun shows. I have never been to a gun show where I didn't see that book for sale. Somewhere. There's always a publisher around at a gun show. They have lots of books and things like that. Someone always has that book for sale. Unintended Consequences by John Ross. Now, the cover's a little bit risque. Okay, you can look it up on Amazon. It was an Amazon bestseller for a while. It basically details how this will go, how the next Concord Bridge will go. And I believe it's true. Timothy McVeigh read this book when he was in prison, and he said that if I had read this book, I would have never done what I did. Pretty interesting. Maybe we should read it. That's how I think it'll go. And these people will get a lesson, quick, fast, and in a hurry, that this won't fly here in this country. It won't fly. It'll be devastating. Devastating. On both sides. Jefferson's quote about the tree of liberty, right? But it won't happen. Not in this country. I'm not worried. We live in interesting times, and it could get really hectic and hairy, and there could be a lot of pain that, we all have to go through. And I really do believe we are on the verge of economic collapse. They are getting ready to shower one thing's sure shooting. They're getting ready to shower our economy with easy cash. They're going to do the lockdowns. If Biden gets elected, they will do the lockdowns. And to fix all these businesses that are going out of business and all of the hurt that's going to be caused by that, they were going to shower the population with stimulus. And be a student of history, once you shower a population with stimulus, you cannot stop. It must continue. And so that's why they have the universal basic income. They can't stop it because you'll crash an economy if you stop it. Once you pump stimulus into it, if you stop it, guys, you're going to the grocery store, you're seeing all of the prices go up. It's not going to stop. It's going to get worse. We're looking to massive hyperinflation coming quick, fast, and in a hurry. It is very shortly coming. They're going to keep pumping and keep pumping and keep pumping. And if you look at the M2 money supply, you can Google M2 money supply. It's a hockey stick. The printing machines, in fact, they're going to turn the printing machines off here soon because they're just going to go to a digital dollar. The Federal Reserve is going to go to a digital dollar, or the IMF will go to a digital worldwide currency, and they're just going to start typing in the zeros at that point. They don't need to print anymore. Turn the printers off. They don't need it anymore. All they need is this. a keyboard. That's all they need. They don't need the printing machines anymore. They're just going to how much money you want? Done. There you go. And massive hyperinflation. That'll kill way more people than any virus could ever think about doing. All right. There's my video tonight. I just wanted to come on and give this, just lay out what I think is happening. And I need you guys to tell me what's what. Okay? Tell me what's what. I see we got the stream. I got the chat going here. Even I have guns, don't know how to use them or clean them, but I have them in ammo and to arm someone who does. You know what? There's a really interesting story in that book, Unintended Consequences, and it's a true story because a lot of fiction and nonfiction mixed together with this, okay, in this book. And there's a story about a guy who's in a concentration camp, and he actually comes across a pistol. And he has never held it before, so he takes the time to study it and just figure out. He's never shot a gun before, never had any training, but you know what? He was able to use that gun for the case for liberty. A true story of a guy in a concentration camp. So listen, I know you want to get training. You want to go out and you find someone who can positively train you and show you how to use that firearm, shoot, move, and communicate with that firearm. But if you can't, and that's all you got, when the time comes, I think you'll do okay. Chances are, maybe. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, you should go get training. Let's see. I'm joining late. What do they mean by it's going to be a dark winter? Oh, you can just come back tomorrow. Come back. The video will be up. You can just come back tomorrow. Yeah, JFK tried to put silver certificates back. Guys, yeah, the economy is done. The economy's toast. And, you know, and I like Bitcoin. I really like Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can get it. Don't buy it through PayPal. Make sure you own it. Make sure you have the keys if you do own it. But you know what? If the government shows up at your door and says, we know you have Bitcoin, turn it over, or we're going to put you in a hole somewhere, you're going to give over your Bitcoin. And right now you have companies like Grayscale and some of these other companies that are hoarding Bitcoin. If someone in the federal government knocks on their door and says, hey, listen, you're all going to jail, all your families are going to jail unless you give us your Bitcoin, guess what they're going to do? They're going to give them the Bitcoin, and then the U.S. Government will tank it. They'll all drop it on the market. You know, they'll confiscate it, or throw anyone who uses it in jail. They can do that. I mean, they can do that. And I know it's hard to confiscate. I know it's hard to trace, but they can still do things. So I like the idea of cryptocurrency. I like the idea you can hide some of it. And maybe it will be this amazing thing. And I own some cryptocurrency. I do. But you know, there's, you know, they took away gold in the 1930s. And you can still go to prison if you're caught with certain coins from the 1930s. Don't think you can't. There are stories in the news, you know, every once in a while. I miss Y2K. Yeah, I know. Weren't those in the good old days, Y2K? Did you really vote for Biden? Of course not. Good grief, people. Did you really? Who do you think the president will be? I don't know. I mean, I was voting for Kanye West. I mean, that's who I was voting for. And then I heard all the Kanye West votes were turned into Biden votes. So I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I voted for Trump. I didn't vote for him the first time. I voted for him this time. And no, I didn't vote for Biden. Okay. Let me show you one other thing. There was an article I wanted to show you before we get back over to the chat. And then I'll go back to the chat in a second. So think of your questions. If you have questions, go put them in all caps. But I'm not ready yet. Let me go ahead and show you the screen. I saw this was in the New York Post today. Very sad story of a mom, Connecticut mom, charged with shooting kids, was depressed amid COVID-19. She was locked down. Guys, this is what's going to happen. We're going to see more of this. When you have this woman, she was suffering. She had a psychotic episode, and she killed her 15-year-old girl, and she shot her 7-year-old son in the back. And the husband came home right after it happened, and she is almost ready to kill herself. And so now she's being charged. This is what's going to happen to people. There's some people who are they can't handle this. They cannot handle being locked up under these restrictions. They cannot handle these lockdowns. And, you know, they're part of this whole reset thing is to cause as much havoc as possible so that they can impose more restrictions, as many restrictions, and be as heavy-handed as possible. That's how I see it, at least. Because people are going to go nuts. People are going to go nuts because they've lost their businesses. They can't go out and socialize. They can't, do the things that they were grown up doing, that they've lived their whole lives with, almost total liberty and freedom. And now it's being cut off. I mean, forget the whole frog in the pot. This is not the frog in the pot anymore. This is like, you just got thrown into a boiling pot, on the stove from the refrigerator, and you're ready to explode because this is not normal. Nothing about this is normal, and people are going to snap. And this woman, she snapped. Sad is just a horrible, horrible story, and she snapped. But we're going to see more of this. But see, that's why I think people, we have the ability to resist in this country and resist effectively. No more election, no more ballot box. Fine, we have the cartridge box. And people, I'm telling you, there are people out there just itching to go, itching. Okay, that's my thoughts. Let's go to the chat. If you have questions, if you have anything you want to say, put it in all caps, and I will read it on the air if it's not inappropriate. Amen to that, Elizabeth. Let's see. What'd you say? Yes, fear is the mind killer. Yep. Lockdowns are terrible. Absolutely, they are. Smart to store food. Absolutely. I just did a video on that for the patrons today. If you're a Patreon member, I just put a video up on someone who gifted us some freeze-dried foods, and I tasted them on a video that I posted today over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. Let me post that up there real quick. Patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. There we go. So there it is. Patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. You can find videos over there that I don't share anywhere else on YouTube. And there you go. Okay, you ready for the second Exodus? Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm waiting for that pillar of fire and that pillar of smoke, and we're out of here. That's it. In the infantry, that was like how you leave. You basically pop smoke. It's always a term. You ready to pop smoke? Yeah, it means leave. Are you ready to leave? I'm ready to pop smoke. And we're going to be led by a pillar of smoke again, according to Isaiah chapter 4. I think it's chapter 4. And in Job. It's in Isaiah chapter 4 and Joel. Pillar of fire and pillar of smoke again. We're going to go out the second time. That's how you know that the regathering has not happened yet, because there's been no pillar of fire and pillar of smoke. What do we do with our stocks and physical assets? I don't know, man. If I was in paper, I would be getting out of paper as quick as possible. That's just me. I'm not telling you what to do with finances because I'm not a financial advisor, and you get in big trouble real quick in a hurry if you start giving out financial advice. So I don't do that. But if it was me, and I already have, I'm not in paper. I'm not in stocks or anything like that, and the cash that I do have does not stay cash very long. It goes into hard assets or something tangible. Cast your fears in the fire. Absolutely. Do you think the Exodus could happen this Passover 2020? And no, I have no idea. I'm not into predictions. All I know is that at some point the Father will keep his promises. And so we'll wait for that. Wondering if I should pull my 401k. Yeah, I'm wondering. Did you see the pillar of light photographed in Colorado? Yes, I did. I saw that. Yep. How is it more important than ever to be connected with believers locally? Yes, it's good. It's good. In fact, I think it's in a couple weeks. There's going to be a gathering here coming up soon down the road. Bunch of people local in the area getting together. I don't have any information on that, so don't come to me asking. Okay, I'm just saying. But it's good. It's good to do that. Find people in your area and network. Do you think the Exodus could happen? Let's see, I already read that one. Do you have livestock? Yes, I have sheep and chickens. Thought on Sweden's lockdown, as Reset has mentioned. Yeah, Sweden's going. A lot of them are going through lockdowns. How do you feel about physical silver and gold? It's a lot better than cash. It's not paper. Is it more important? Don't ever buy the gold ETFs, exchange traded funds. Don't buy the silver ETFs. They're not real silver. It is more important ever to be gas. Okay, I read that part. The pillar of light had no light source. Listen, I'm one of those people who believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Something I learned in the military long ago. It remains true today. I saw the picture of the pillar of light. Didn't give a lot of information about it. So, I don't get worked up about some of this stuff. I saw it. It looked interesting. But People say you can do amazing things with Photoshop and After Effects. Question: if Trump wins, will this slow the Great Reset or will it continue as planned? I don't know. I mean, listen, if Trump wins this thing, the cities are going to burn. Cities are going to burn, dude. I'm just telling you, straight up. I mean, they are going to go absolutely nuts, and they're going and Soros and the media is going to push them and just egg it on. Hey Zach, I'm trying to read the Bible, but I would like to supplement it by getting an audio version to help with pronunciation. Any recommendations, please? I don't know about any recommendations for the names. It depends. I mean, there's so many great audio ones out there, but many of them aren't going to do the names with the Hebrew thrown in. I don't know. You're going to have to do your own research on that, man. How many cows you have? Zip, 0. A lot of people around here have cows, though. There's lots of beef on the hoof. What's the best place in Missouri to move to? Asking for a friend. Guys, if I missed your question, I'm missing some, so post them again if I didn't answer it. Best place in Missouri to move to? I don't know. I mean, it's lots of great places. I think the Ozarks are the last undiscovered place. I mean, the prices are going up. I had people tell me this week that, hey, prices are going up like crazy for land prices here. So the Ozarks. The Ozarks encompasses parts of Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. I love the Ozarks. We pulled the 401k and vacated. Good for you, buddy. Absolutely. Do you think COVID virus is as lethal as the common flu? Guys, this is not lethal. 600,000 people. Excuse me. I gotta move my foot. Get comfortable here. 600,000 people died of cancer in 2019, including my wife. That's not going to come to the number that we have people who perish from COVID, okay? People are not cowering in fear for cancer. We don't even know what causes most of these cancers. It's this mysterious illness. No one, we've pumped billions and billions and billions and billions, and every year we do the race for the cure where they raise millions of dollars. And they have no idea what causes half these things, okay? And so, some of them we do. Yeah, the chain smoking, you probably should stop doing that. Chewing tobacco, overtly crazy alcohol consumption. There's some things, sniffing glue, probably not the greatest idea. But we really don't know what causes most of these cancers. And we're not cowering in fear, hiding in our basements because in lockdowns and wearing masks and of what caused. We have no idea. And it's killing way more people than this virus is probably going to kill. So I don't think I don't think this is that big a deal. I think people are building this up to make it into something that it's not. But that's the world we live in today. Have you heard of Nessera and Gisera? No. You don't still have truffles? No, we don't have truffles. If you want to post questions, post them in all caps so I see them. I just happened to see that one. No, we got rid of truffles. Truffles was a project that me and Jamie were going to do together. We wanted a milk cow, and she was going to be the milker. I was going to help. We were going to trade off and help have our kids trained to do that as well. And when she passed, it was just something we couldn't do anymore. I can't. I have to start. To keep my sanity, I have to limit things and establish priorities. And priorities are, number one, my kids at homeschool. Number two, my in-laws. And number three, just making a living here, earning a bit, doing business, communicating with you guys because this does help pay the bills. Doing Patreon and selling products like these. We have these recipe cards for sale on our website. You can buy some of those. We got more coming out for patrons also. So things like that. Those are my priorities. Everything else, gone. I have to limit it. I can't do it. And the cow had to go. I just couldn't do it. What was the name of the author again? John Ross, and the book is Unintended Consequences. John Ross, and the book is Unintended Consequences. Are you stocked up on Rubik's Cubes? I have 4 or 5. I think we're okay on Rubik's Cubes. Wasn't favorite verse? What is your favorite verse or verses? Oh my gosh, no, I can't. I don't know. I have lots of favorite verses. Most of them are on the Greater Exodus, though. Article on Forbes says Arkansas will give you $10,000 and a mountain bike to move here. I didn't get a mountain bike and $10,000. I don't believe that article. You have to show me. When did you serve? I was in the military. I joined in '96, served 1 enlistment. 1st Battalion, 6th Infantry out of Baumholder, Germany, and deployed once to Serbia. I spent my 21st birthday on the border with Serbia, looking down a tow missile at Serb tanks. Let's see. They were kind of far away, though. But still, we had a tow missile there. 10 guys on a border for 6 months watching Serbia. Nasara Gisar National Economic Security and Recovery Act. G is global. You don't think they accounted for us weapons ownership? No, because they would not be doing the things that they're doing. They think that nothing. See, it's outside the realm of their small minds. They seriously, that would never happen. I mean, look how horrified and like, because these people are showing up at these capitals or these rallies with AR-15s. They're horrified. They can't imagine that. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet, pal. It gets really bad, they'll start racking rounds. Okay, how much land do you have? Is 9 acres enough? 1 acre is enough. If you can get 1 acre, you can do amazing. I've seen people do amazing things with 1 acre. If you can get 1 acre of land, amazing things. It's just all about how you plan. Let's see. Buy a horse and saddle, not a bike. Man, horses are a pain in the butt. I really don't want that either. So you know about DEW? I don't know what that is. Did you see any of the Senate hearing this morning? If so, your thoughts? I saw a little bit. I was watching, was it the Online America News, whatever it is, AON or whatever, OAN. Just looked. It's real, but they want high-profile artists to move there. I'm a high-profile artist. What kind of artist they want? I mean, like painters? What? Good for you and your kids. Walmart had whole turkeys for sale, 58 cents a pound. Oh, yeah, it'd be good to have a few turkeys. Yahweh bless you and your family, Zach. Always looking for it. Yeah, thank you, guys. What version Bible do you recommend? I've always used the Ray Comfort Comfortable King James. I know there's good ones out there besides that one, but I like that one. It's just the one I've been using. It's a sword I'm comfortable with. You did bring up John Ross's book over a year ago in a video once. I bought it a year ago. Oh, I did. I didn't. I can't remember I did that. But okay, great. You were paying attention. Who said that? Hank Herring. Yep, I remember, Hank. I remember you. I met you and you told me that, I think. So, yeah. Or maybe I told you in person. I've met you a few times in person. Thanks for your service. You're welcome. Directed energy weapons. Yeah, an AK-47 is a directed energy weapon. Gage wants to know if you would have any dinosaurs as a pet, what would it be and why? Gotta love kid questions. If I could have any, I wouldn't have a dinosaur as a pet. I mean, have you seen Jurassic Park? My kids love Jurassic Park movies. We'll end with this. My kids love Jurassic Park movies, and here's the honest story, folks. Here's the honest scoop on all these movies. It's all the same. They're so excited when because they said a new Jurassic Park movie is getting made. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. They get the dinosaurs get out, they eat everybody, and then everyone moans and complains about how the dinosaurs got out. And then they try to get them back again, confined again. It's the same movie every single time. And sometimes it has Jeff Goldblum, sometimes it doesn't have Jeff Goldblum. That's the only difference. I wouldn't have a dinosaur because I've seen the movie. I know what happens. I know what happens. We're not going to have dinosaurs. No dinosaurs. Okay, we're not going to clone dinosaurs. So we'll stick with sheep and chickens. Some of the pointy-headed theologian scientists believe chickens were once dinosaurs anyway. So there you go. That's about as velociraptor as we're going to get. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Let's start the music, and I will be checking you guys out again next time. And yeah, there we go. Amazing feedback coming in from the chat. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. Go out and check us out at AmericanHomestead.com. We may, who knows what the future of YouTube is here on, let me put this up. There we go. Who knows what the future of YouTube is? I'm really looking forward to Lighthouse. Okay? And seeing how that's going to play out. I don't know how it's going to play out, but it looks interesting. Lighthouse with 3 eyes.com. Lighthouse with 3 eyes.com. It's looking like it's going to be fantastic. I'm seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff with that. And I haven't joined Parler. I'm going to wait for Lighthouse. But go ahead and check us out always over at AmericanHomestead.com. You can find some of our recipe cards over there for sale. Other things as well often come up for sale. Join us over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead if you want to become a patron and get behind the scenes videos. And also be sure to check out our Teespring merch below. Teespring, where we get some great shirts. I do wear the Oxen shirt sometimes, but because I love Oxen. But if you want some of our Teespring Homestead merch, check it out. Link in the description below. Our Teespring shop. You can get some great shirts. The Stupid Should Hurt shirt too. So, all right. Bye, guys. See ya.